Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and this is part one for another double layout. I feel like I haven't done doubles in a while, so I kind of think it's funny I have a couple this month. But just with them being vacation photos, I had so many photos from like the same type of event, and it just made sense to me to make some double pages to use a lot of these photos together kind of on one big spread instead of a bunch of singles. So this first page is going to be me and Aya, who is the Komodo dragon at the St. Augustine Alligator Zoological Park farm. So I love her. There's a ton of gators here. I think this is like the only place in the world that has every species of gator and alligator or something like that. And I love this place. I've been here a couple times, but it was Marcus's first time coming. So I was very excited to come back. I also really enjoyed it because Marcus and I were really able to take our time. We stuck around for a couple shows. We ate lunch here, which was really nice because I feel like a couple times we came before, we just had a lot lined up for that day, and we really didn't get to spend the amount of time that I wanted to here because the people I was with, they just didn't want to stay around for all of the shows, or they kind of saw the exhibits and were ready to move on. So it was really fun being able to go and just spend all the time I wanted with the animals. I feel like no matter where I go, I'm gonna find somewhere with animals and I'm gonna want to spend all my time there. So this is one of those places, and I had so much fun. So the next page has some gators on it and Marcus, but this one is all about me and Aya, and I love her. I feel like we had a connection. A lot of the animals were like mid-shed while we were there, and I just felt so bad because I just wanted to, I know they're so itchy and I just wanted to help them shed so bad. And little Aya, she came, it was so sweet. I wish I had it on video. She came up to the glass and I like put my little hand up to the glass and she like booped her head against it as if I was like scratching her head. And I was just chatting with her, and she like looked up at the camera and Marcus, and I love these three little photos that just kind of capture that moment. She was an itchy lady. I just wanted to give her scratchies, but not a good idea for Komodo dragons. But I just loved this little moment. It was one of my favorite parts of coming this trip, so I wanted to make sure I documented it. For this double, I knew I wanted to use this kind of aqua ledger paper, and I thought this peachy orange was a really nice complementary color. So those are the two papers I decided to use as my background for the doubles. So you already saw me piece those two together, and then the other pieces I'm saving for part two when I do the other half of this double page. I did my notebook edge punch on the side of the orange. You guys saw me measure twice and then still cut that orange piece too small. So I had to go back and cut another like inch to give me the orange mat that I wanted. I just covered the seam in some black and white washi that I'm gonna have to make sure I use around the page so it doesn't look like a mistake. But for this first page, I really just wanted to have a cool little cluster in this lower left-hand corner. And I bounce back and forth between this and the next page a lot. So I've kind of edited this together. That's all the parts of this page. But you'll see in the next video when I do page two from this double, I'll keep bringing this one back in frame in various stages of being created because I typically like to do my doubles together. But just because videos are short this month, I wanted to film them separate so I could space my videos out a little bit. But I really like this. I'm pulling in that orange. I'm having some more aqua. And then I decided I wanted an extra color just because I really am already kind of running low in a couple colors. So I'm pulling in some pops of gold and a couple black and white elements, especially since I already used that black and white washi. So I'm trimming this little palm tree cut apart. I'm using a corner rounder just to make it a little bit more interesting, and I'm just trying to layer up a couple things to make this corner interesting, but I'm really just trying to make sure I'm including all the colors from this double in this little cluster. That way everything looks cohesive by the end. And I was toying around with adding a paper underneath this, this notebook edge punch. That way you can really see that punch detail. It kind of blends into the ledger background without it. But that scrap I had from one of the scenic papers, I think it was like the sky or something, was just too much of a different blue. I really liked this strictly aqua and peach color scheme with pops of gold and black and white. So I really didn't want to pull in other types of blues I then would have to worry about balancing. So I'm trying to stick to what I have. I do have this little scrap of navy I did decide to include. But other than that, I'm trying to stick with the things I have. I'm using this coral branding strip and cutting it into a little fishtail banner so I can have another pop of that orangey color. And I really like how this is coming together. I thought this piece was a little bit too big. It was covering up too much of the tag, so I trimmed it down a little bit. I'm gonna re-round the corners and then I'll stick it down. I like that proportion a lot better. That little obsessed, I don't know if you can tell, but it is gold, and I really like how it kind of gives you another pop of gold other than the label that's behind the tag. So I'm popping that up on some foam so that has a little bit of dimension. Everything's all very flat right now, so I wanted something popped up. So I did pop that word up, and I thought that was appropriate because I was obsessed with Aya. So I thought that was a good word to use on this page. And then I kind of go back and forth after I get this cluster down with the second page. You don't have to see that in this video though, but I kind of make my decisions on finishing this page based off what I ended up doing on the next one, just so everything would look cohesive. One of the things I really wanted to do was I did want to have a paper behind the notebook edge punch because I really liked how well you could see it. And I also thought it'd be nice just to have another layer. But I wanted there to be some more texture. I love the notebook edge punch, but I kind of wanted like a torn texture. So I will go back and just add some torn white along the side. And I really like what that adds to it. I like the white kind of ties into that palm tree cut apart. And I think it really helps with balancing everything out. So I got some more black and white washi kind of anchoring that cluster. So the black and white washi is in 3 separate areas, which I like. Before I glue down these pictures, I'm going to gut this orange. I love this orange, but there's only two 12 by 12s with this color in this collection. And so I want to salvage what I can because I think this orange is such a complementary color to all the blues in this collection. So I want to save what I can to use it on as many layouts as possible. So I'm just saving this little bit. Then I'll back the background on my black and glue down my photos. I love this especially when I have washi going around the outside because it really secures the washi down between the backing and the layout. So I don't have to worry about that washi peeling up. And then I got the photos glued down. So this is where I went back to the second layout and then back to this one. I decided to add seagulls as another element. And then here is the torn white paper I decided to add. And I really like that. It's not as much contrast as that blue was, but I think for the color scheme of this layout, the white just looks so nice and fresh. So I'm just going to get that secure. I think I tore it a little wider than it needed to, so I go back and tear a couple more pieces so it's just not too thick. But I like that extra detail. I also did thread that tag with black and white twine to also go off of the washi that I'm using. And I think those little seagulls were a really nice finishing touch. But since I am pulling in pops of gold, I did some Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine. And then I'm going to do a couple spots of this white Nuvo drops. I kind of finished the page here and then realized I didn't have any journaling or title or anything. So I go back and pull in my little stamps again that I've been using this month. I'm just going to title the top of it Alligator Farm. That's where we were. And then under the photo strips, I'm just going to say Aya, just so I remember this Komodo dragon's name, because me and her had a moment. And so I want to make sure I've documented her name when I'm looking back on these pages, because I don't know if I'll always remember her name. But it was so fun. So I'm spelling out alligator there. and I'm spelling out farm here. I didn't have another A, so I had to steal one from Alligator, but I'm just going to use that same blue ink and just spell it along the top of that layout, or the top there. And I'm going backwards, which is super brave. I always mess up going backwards, but I think I did okay again this page. And there we go. And I'm going to do Aya, and then I think I'm done after that. But I like that little extra pop of blue, and I just needed some information on here. I didn't want to do a whole bunch of journaling and everything because I feel like the photos are pretty self-explanatory. But I needed to say like where we were and stuff. So here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next layout, which will be page 2 of this double page spread. And I have a couple video clips at the end of these videos, just different video snippets I took from vacation.